Welcome, everyone, to Vision Untethered Podcast, conversations with inspirational leaders. My name is Jill Simons, founder of Savvy Strategic Partners. We are a dedicated fractional executive team executing vision, increasing business value, and helping founders realize freedom. I am so excited to introduce my guest today, a creative force in the world of storytelling. Armando Leduc is helping brands break through the noise with video content and podcasting services that captivate and convert. Armando, thank you for being here and thank you for joining us. I'm so excited to have you.
Thanks for having me. I love the intro, by the way.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah, it's good. I'm
Yeah, well, we're going to
about
dive more into it.
thinking about doing more of an intro where where we talk about, our offer and what we do, because I think that's important.
Yes. It is. Yeah, we're going to dive into that. What it is you do, the impact you're making with that, and purpose that called you to what it is that you and your amazing team do. So, first and foremost, I'm curious about your story, how you got to where you are, what inspired your journey into entrepreneurialism for one, but exactly, what led you to choose this industry specifically?
I started my first business in 1999. I opened up a swing Latin and ballroom studio. And it's
Okay.
funny how all of the things sort of come back around. My COO, Will Brooks, who works for me now, we met
Hmm.
back in 1999 doing theater together. And I was working at a swing Latin and ballroom studio, and I was kind of tired of dealing with my boss at the time. And I was just talking to him at a rehearsal one day, and he was like, "Why don't you just start your own studio?" And I was like, "What?" And yeah, I mean that invitation to start my own business was crazy. And I started this swing Latin and ballroom studio, and it was open for like 8 years. I moved before that. I moved to New Orleans to pursue my acting career, but my business partner at the time kept it going. But yeah, we grew this business and got introduced to entrepreneurship very early and
Hmm.
did some iterations around a bunch of different things and started this iteration of my business in 2016, where I
Hmm.
started Leduc Entertainment doing video production work. And when I got to 2021, right after actually during COVID, I had my first podcast at the time, and it wasn't really a podcast. It was just me getting on a Zoom, talking to a friend of mine who grew his personal injury firm to 40 million. And he started his consulting company called Eight Figure Firm.
Hmm.
A few months later, he called me and asked me to shoot content for him and his new company, Eight Figure Firm. And he told me, he was like, "Armando, you have a seven-figure business. You just don't know how to get there. And if you let me mentor you, I'll teach you how to do it." And in the first month, in 2019, we brought in around 69,000 for the year. And a month after working with Lewis, we had our first $30,000 a month revenue, and scale it up to $500,000 in a year, which was
Hmm.
the growth. But um what I found was, just unlocking some of the mindset issues that I had regarding money and growth and entrepreneurship,
Hmm.
and really the thing that changed the entire game for me was really going in on my podcast and meeting the right people. And as a result, just opening up revenue streams, opening up referral partnerships, doors, the rooms that I've been able to get into as a result of my podcast has been just incredible. So
Yeah, amazing. So Leduc Entertainment is the name of the business, right? And founded on years of crafting stories and storytelling and acting, filmmaking and producing. What would you say has been the impact of the clients that you're serving based on that storytelling component and really bringing that to life in what it is they do and the impact that they're making in their companies, businesses?
it's trying to figure out how to quantify something that's so unquantifiable, meaning
Mm,
we've been able to allow people to come out of their shell, overcome imposter syndrome as a result of creating content and doing their podcast. And because they're in the habit of creating content and speaking on their authority and the practice
mm,
at doing this on a monthly basis, created the confidence, right? Like it wasn't something that they
yeah.
think about and by osmosis try to figure out. It was because they put themselves out there on a regular basis and created this irreverent muscle that created the reinforce their messaging not only
Mm,
to their people but to themselves. Because when you
hmm
create content and you're doing this on a regular basis, and me going on podcasts talking about my podcast and how it's been so effective for me, but not just for me, but for my other people, it
Right.
reinforces my message to myself that what I'm doing is impactful. And it reminds me, oh, yeah, that's right. This case study and this case study, this case study, this case study. So it was amazing to
Hmm
like allow. You hear my dog? No, right? You don't hear he's bark. So
Yeah,
but
see,
it
can't
allowed
hear him.
me to, it allowed me to pour into them. I've been
Hmm
acting since 98. I've had acting classes where I've taught,
hmm
at this point, close to 100 actors. And
hmm
that and going, okay, how do I bring that into the business? And I'm actually speaking at eight-figure firm about getting over imposter syndrome and using improv
hmm
acting techniques to get over that stuff because it you have to do it, right? It's like I
Yeah.
can buy a bike, I can buy the best uniform and the best helmet and be in the most picturesque place, but if I'm not riding the bike, like it doesn't matter. And
Hmm.
so my job mainly these days, because we're moving into consulting as well as a done for you system, is really just kind of pushing people into and holding their hand through the process of creating content so that they can see that it's not going to kill them. It's not that hard, right? And because they start doing it, they get better at it, they get the more confidence, then they start owning it, they step into their voice. And then all of a sudden, things just start to happen for them. Yes, it's
hmm
going to increase revenue 100%. Like that's just a given. But the other things that you're not really seeing, the confidence, the self improvement that they're experiencing, building their
Totally.
personal brand, connecting
Yeah.
with other people, all of that stuff just happens as a result of creating the content, which has been a beautiful thing to see over and
Yeah.
over again.
And it's the power of story. I think that a lot of us, and especially founders or those really, wanting to make a mark in a thought leadership position
Yeah,
as business owners, a lot of them don't really know how to bring their full story to the table. I'm one of those. You inspired my podcast journey significantly. And so I can attest to the impact of that and being able to articulate and own my story. And for that to be a part of what draws people in, your prospects, your connections, your networking is all based on being able to connect with people on an authentic level by them knowing just who you are.
right.
And I think a lot of us hide that and don't really know how to bring that forward in their content in a way that helps people trust you, helps people engage with you, and just know you're speaking their language. It's all in our story. It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know Rufus, right? Rufus.
Yes. Yes.
The only reason I took 2 years really like just going over it and over it and over it with him is because he's a really good friend of mine. I wouldn't have spent as much time trying to sell somebody as much. But Rufus, I like for 2 years, I was like, Rufus, why aren't we starting a podcast? Rufus, why aren't you creating content? Rufus, why are
hmm
you not doing this? And it was just excuse after excuse after excuse.
Yeah.
Now he is fully involved in his.
Yes.
He started
And I've seen it and it's wonderfully done.
yeah, he's got a
So good.
YouTube channel that he's created now. He's writing a
Hmm
book. Now he wants to do more public speaking. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Rufus, do you see where you're at? Like, don't let's not take for granted your growth. Like think about where you were 2 years ago and think about where you're at now and the
Hmm.
mindset that you have regarding content and the mindset that you have regarding personal branding and how you put yourself out there. And now you're not the conversations we were having at the beginning about all of these just head trash, I like to call it, head
Yeah.
trash, the things that is just in his brain and doesn't really matter to now
Hmm.
like who are we getting on and how do we make it better? And putting yourself out there isn't a risk. It's it's a necessity these days, especially as we're moving into 2026 and AI is becoming prevalent in everything that we do. What
Right.
people are going to start craving is human interaction. They want to see human content. YouTube has already
Hmm.
said that they're going to start subverting AI content, right? And now people are becoming more and more distrusting when it comes to the internet. So
Right.
it makes even more of a difference to actually connect with somebody because business is all about
Yeah.
connecting and relationships anyway. And so if you're
Hmm.
looking at, okay, how am I going to grow my business quick? How can I stay relevant? How can people trust my brand? You
Right.
be creating content and you've got to be, podcasting and things. Alex Hormozy and Cody Sanchez were on the CE Diary of the CEO podcast. Um,
Hmm.
a week ago that I just listened to. And if you have a moment, listen to
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
incredible in terms
Okay.
of what the future is going to hold in terms of business and what's going to be replaced. And like the human connection is just not going to be replaced. It's
Yep.
not. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I saw somewhere just the other day a reminder, whether it was a quote or somebody's post, somebody else's content, right? That is something to the tune of let's not confuse engagement for trust. You can
mm,
have, all of these engagement signals that indicate, popularity or your content being amazing, but ultimately there's going to be specific channels and ways of connecting and connecting to your real story that result in outcomes of trust. No matter
yeah.
how many followers you have, who's listening, who's engaging with it is not that measure of success anymore because until you've fostered that trust, and trust comes from your authenticity, sitting down, right conversations, sharing your story and your content with the right target, that trust can't be formed. So, just to be cautious of that because it's the right story at the right time with the right person. And I think that, yeah, the podcasting and just like you mentioned, Rufus as an example, what an incredible voice and wisdom that man has to share that was just kind of all kept behind, and now there's just so much more confidence that exudes and um, he shows up differently, I think. So it's amazing.
I will say this, and for those of you out there that are like afraid of AI and what that's going to do, here's
Hmm.
here's the deal. In the future, there's going to be problems. Problems are never going away. We're just going to have new problems, right? And whenever there's a problem, there's going to be people out there that can solve those problems. And if you can solve those problems, you will be able to have a business. So if you're thinking about, oh my God, AI is taking these jobs and blah, 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 focus on what are the problems that human beings have, because problems are never going away. And if you can solve those problems and you can skate to where the puck is going, you'll position yourself in the future where you need to in order to grow, in order to scale. So start thinking about that. Start thinking about what are the problems that people have? How can you solve those problems? Now you have a business.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. So spot on. And I mean, this, content and producing the content, that is essentially, if you can hone in on the problems you're solving, that is the engine for your content. What are you solving real world? How can you speak to the pain points, the true pain points that those in which you solve that problem for tune in, they're listening, they're looking for that. They're looking for answers, solutions, support. So that's the beauty of content and tying that in with your story.
Yeah. Did you read Science of Scaling yet?
I'm reading it right now. I'm almost done. Yes.
Oh, good.
Amazing.
It
So
really did.
good.
It was a good slap in my face about a week ago when I read it because I was like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, you got this offer and this offer and this offer and this offer. And I was like, we
same
we
here.
just gotta do one thing and do it
Yep,
well. And just go a mile deep with that one offer. And
exactly.
we've closed 3 deals this week just as a result of getting super focused on what it is that we're doing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Shout
Yeah,
out.
I can attest to that too. Yeah, it's like we're, all these different opportunities and, ways to kind of pigeonhole things or spread offers and realizing actually there's so much more impact if we alleviate any of this that we're trying to push through and force and, spread ourselves across. So, yeah, I can definitely attest to that too. So, what's a pivotal failure that you've encountered through this journey, and how has addressing it shaped how you've grown? And maybe, maybe kind of simplification just to the point you were making, but is there one that
Yeah.
stands out to you?
I think expecting expecting things from your employees that they're not necessarily geared to do. And we started using the 6 types of working genius as, as a recruit
Hmm.
model and as a model to really understand who we have on our team. And as a
Hmm.
result, have streamlined processes, put people in the right seats, gotten rid of people that weren't good fits, and was just transformational for us because we're like, oh, wow, okay, now we're hiring according to assessments. And not that it's
Mm.
like a right or wrong thing for us, it was just
Hmm.
and more of an understanding. And then people understood me too, because then they could say, oh, Armando's an idea guy, and Armando's going to be excited about moving forward, right? Ideas and galvanizing.
Yep.
So they're also more relaxed when it comes to me, right? Or maybe they'll listen to one of my ideas just to appease me, right? Because I just need
Hmm.
doesn't mean that I need you to work on it right now. It's just an idea that I had. And if they could just listen to my idea all the way through and go, great, did you get it out of your system? Yeah. And sometimes that's all we need as visionaries or people that have ideas. So once I started figuring out assessment wise who we had in the organization,
Yeah.
that helped me navigate things better and sort of eliminated frustration for me because I would know now with my project manager, Melanie, who's my sister, that she's just not going to sit around and wonder and invent things about something. She's going to
Yep.
that the project gets done. She's going to manage it. You tell her exactly what
Yes.
she needs to do, and she's going to go do it.
Yeah.
Great. So that was one thing
Yeah.
that has changed the game for
That's
us.
huge. Yeah. Who people are, how they work, what's their mode of operation, where they shine, where they're drained, and understanding that dynamic across our people it's so essential. It's, yeah, so dependent upon that. Love it. Love it. Can you share maybe a specific experience where you have felt trapped by your business and what strategies you implemented to create space to untether you from being in your business?
Um, I read The Science of Scaling a week ago,
Mhm.
and I was like,
So it's still fresh.
I
This
am
is
my
still
own,
fresh.
right, like I am my own enemy because I am the kind of person that's like, just pile it on, just pile it on, just pile it on. And
Yep.
when we go, Armando and the team, guys, we're going to focus on podcasting. That is what we're going to focus on. We're not focusing on legacy videos. We're not focusing on day in the life videos, commercials, and all these things that we can do. And the problem with being talented, and I'm sure you have this issue as well, when you're talented and you can do all of the things, that's even worse than just being good at one thing, right? Because now you have so many things that you could do and you are good at it and you have done it at a high level that you think that just because you're good at it means that you should be doing it. And it's not the
Exactly. That's
case.
the double, yeah, that's the double-edged sword trap is like you shouldn't be doing it for the sake of scaling beyond yourself, but you're good at it too. So you hold on to it way too long.
Way too
Yeah,
long.
I would definitely agree with that. Yeah, Science of Scaling, everybody, Dr. Benjamin Hardy. So it's kind of all the talk in a lot of my network and friends right now. So it's a good one.
Because it's easy to be messy. Easy to be
Yeah.
confusing. It's easy to have everything laid out there. That's easy. Scaling it down and editing and purging and this doesn't fit and that doesn't fit and using a filter to make sure that this is what like there's a reason
Yeah.
why the book reads so easy, right? But the amount of
Hmm.
work that it took to whittle everything down to that message to make it like resonate is
Yeah.
hard to do. That is extremely difficult.
Yeah, it's the whole principle, I think, where so many of us confuse s- movement or progress with quantity, with the quantity of what it is we're doing. When we really look at things from this lens of quality, where is the best use of my time, anyone's time, my entire team? Where are we spending energy that is not returning, that is not going to make an impact? And if we were to really look at strategy as a lens of what not to do, I think we can all mostly agree that us not achieving or getting to a goal isn't usually by way of not doing enough. It's usually because we are doing too many things or looking at too many things, maybe that clutter and cloud our focus on what actually matters. So the act of doing less, and so many entrepreneurs I know die on this sword of, or wearing this badge of like, well, I'll just do it. I'll die on that, like I'll there's obviously going to be things that are hugely imperative and may fall to like truly needing somebody's bandwidth to like get it, where it needs to be. I'm not talking about that. It's more so like everything else that you meddle in business because you haven't entrusted somebody else. You haven't let go of it and you're the martyr because you feel like you should be doing it all, or you wear some sort of badge of honor that you can take care of it. It's just such a trap. So yeah, love it. Yes. What can business owners do to design these systems? Like, what are processes that have allowed you to thrive and your team to thrive without your constant oversight?
I'll tell you. So John Glon became our Bloom growth coach, and we've been working with him for about a year. Using Bloom
Hmm.
as our
Yep.
meeting software has been a game changer. We are
Hmm.
streamlined as to how we approach opportunities and obstacles, what our quarterly priorities are, making sure that we're keeping track of our KPIs. So, and then everybody that's in the company understanding, oh, okay, there's accountability every week in these meetings. I better get my stuff done, right? And that I'm going to be held to a higher standard. And as a result,
Hmm.
productivity has gone up. And then we have a source of truth now in Playbook Builder where we didn't have that before, where we would have like process and procedures in Google Drive, and then it would be in Asana, and then it would be maybe in Notes, and then and then some of it would be in Playbook Builder. And I was like, guys, we've got to may have one source of truth, and that's it. And when something
Yeah.
gets updated, put it in there. And so that's
Mm.
where we sort of keep everything
Yep.
super fun, so that people, when they get onboarded and when they need to find something, it's super easy.
Yep. Awesome. Super helpful. Yeah, just a system, systematizing, operating system, centralized place where the team knows what is going where, what are we working on at any given moment? Are we looking at the right priorities? It's huge. Yeah. So we spoke a little bit to these, just touching on the science of scaling and things holding. us back from untethering, but what would you say for you have been some common psychological barriers that have prevented you from stepping back?
I think it's like you were saying, right? I think you, because you run the company and you think that you have the answers,
Hmm.
set yourself up in that way that you go, oh, I have the answers, so I'm going to solve the problem, instead of empowering your team to go, hey, you guys have a brain and you're in the trenches, so you guys can probably solve this better than I can. So what are your, stopping and asking the question, what are your three solutions to this problem? And it's usually the
Hmm.
right one.
Yeah,
So
totally.
stepping out of me having to answer every question and training myself to put it back onto them so that they can answer it and feel empowered because they.
Hmm. Yeah, how does excessive involvement in business affect its valuation and its readiness for the
Ah,
owner to be less involved?
yes. So I had the pleasure of going to the Exit Planning Institute.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was really fun. Have you been?
I haven't yet.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
and so it was really eye-opening. And me and Rufus, because he's my financial advisor, is
Okay.
that too, right? Like, how are you going to exit the business? And if it
Mm,
eyes on Armando, then the valuation goes down significantly, right? Because as soon as Armando gets steps away from the picture, the value of the company goes down, right? Because it's not built on systems, it's built on me and my reputation. And so that was something that was eye-opening for me, learning about, exit planning and why we should be focused on exit planning,
yep.
even if you're 10, 15, 20 years away from exiting, right?
Yep.
Like, how are you setting yourself up to have a business that can run without you?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
your business, the more you're involved, but it also depends on where you're at, revenue wise too, right? Like, at what point can you let go?
Hmm.
And make sure that you're finding the right people to hire the right people. Do you know Alec Broadfoot?
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So, his company Vision Spark, um,
Hmm.
company, if you're looking at trying to find that number two, and they have a
Yep.
98% efficacy rate, finding that right person, you know,
Hmm.
and can be game changing, right? And
Yeah.
your company as well,
Yes.
providing these services to these companies so that they
Yep.
can step out of the seat, right? And
Exactly.
really start to, that's where growing starts to come in, right? A players coming in
Hmm.
um, and creating that it's not the cost, it's the investment.
Exactly.
People start to see
Yeah.
it, people start to view it as an investment and not as a cost.
Hmm.
Game changes.
It does. Yeah. Immediately, whether it is a second in command, whether it's any function in the business that you are still endowed to because there's not an effective leader in that seat, that is science of scaling right there, right? The superpower people that are an investment in your business to take that, to take that to the next level. So you could operate there. You can do those things. But at any given point, if the business is more dependent on you in any area of the business, it's it's nothing that's going to grow and sustain upon itself to grow in value until you've relieved that, until
Um,
you've, yeah, offloaded that. What from that too, I'm curious with the Exit Planning Institute and the conference, anything that you've done more immediate term, like how has the understanding of utilizing exit planning as a growth tool now, as a strategy in your business now, how has that impacted anything you've done more current term and how you're kind of working toward that being a part of your business growth strategy?
yeah, I mean, because we have tighter processes and that I don't have to
Hmm.
be involved anymore. It's given me more time to focus on other things that I really love doing, which is like
Hmm.
Life on Purpose is a project that I wrote, a TV show, and I finished it. I'm taking it to the American film market in November. I'm getting asked to speak.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I get to do a lot more things now because my business doesn't have to rely on me,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
it's been awesome, right? Like if I step
You get
away,
to,
I know that it's my business is going to keep going, and not only is it going to keep going, it's going to keep growing.
yeah. And thriving when you're in an environment where you're doing what you love and what the business needs from you because you're not inundated in the areas that actually pull you down, that keep you from being in that visionary element. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah,
What's the name of it?
it's
Your
called Life.
production?
It's a
Life
T
on
Life on Bourbon.
Life on Bourbon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Like Bourbon Street?
I used to work on Bourbon Street. And so it's about, my life when I used to work on Bourbon Street as an MC, but then also
Mm.
my life as an agency owner. And so I own an agency, but I also own a bar on Bourbon and like those worlds colliding. And so it's been a fun way for me to get out my stories.
Super fun. And then are you yourself, you play yourself in this show?
His name is Leo, but yeah, it's
Okay. All right. Very cool. That'll be fun. Keep me posted on that. I want to see it.
been a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm working
Very
on it
cool.
now. So
You're
we'll see.
just you're multi-talented just in so many ways. That's incredible.
It's hard, but it's the double-edged sword, right? Like you're like, oh, yeah, I'm good at all of these things, so I should be doing all these things. Be like, no, I shouldn't be doing all these things. Just stick to the things.
Armando of all trades. Yeah,
Uh,
you've got
you know,
I love it. Singing, acting, producing, marketing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a blessing, though. It's a blessing. I love it.
It is. Yeah.
Beezer, who's my intentionality coach, talks about that too. Is like it's all in the perspective. Like you can sit around and go, oh, woe is me. I have all of these talents and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, are you listening to yourself right now? Like, you know,
Yeah,
blessings.
but
It's
it's a blessing. And I think I mean, on the opposite spectrum of that, you hear like hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
yeah,
So, to know your talents and to continually be intentional about channeling them in impactful ways, it's a beautiful thing. So, and the more focused, then the deeper you can go with them. I think you know that.
yeah,
So,
for sure. I like it.
amazing. Yeah. Keeps things exciting.
Mhm.
So what practical steps are you suggesting to entrepreneurs who are struggling to delegate while maintaining alignment with their vision?
What are some practical tools?
Practical steps, yeah, that you've taken or, that that to suggest to entrepreneurs who are struggling with letting go.
Find smarter people to help you do the
Yeah.
things that you don't want to be doing or shouldn't be doing, and
Hmm.
be okay with spending the money to do it.
Yep. Pretty
That's
simple. Yeah,
If you
absolutely.
have time, do it. If you don't have time, pay for it.
Yeah. There you go. Borrow it. Yeah, borrow it or you're doing it yourself.
100%.
Sounds good. Well, if others want to learn about Leduc Entertainment, follow your show, get in touch with you, where's the best place to reach out to you?
I'm super easy to find. If you Google Armando Leduc, all my stuff pops up. But LeducEntertainment.com,
Yep,
and then my social medias, I'm very active, so it's very easy to find me.
absolutely. Well, good. Thank you so much, Armando, for sharing a bit of your story and for being here. Everyone, thank you for being here, and we will see you next time.
Love it.
All right. Cheers.